Let's make 3 easy mini iron-on projects as we look forward to spring. For this first project, I made a fabric bookmark using some scrap pieces of fabric, and these are really simple to make if you have a sewing machine, but you could also add iron-on vinyl to an existing bookmark. I decided to use these butterfly cutouts from my Dollar Tree vinyl test video so they wouldn't go to waste. And since they are slightly larger than the bookmark, I just placed each one and trimmed it down so that the cutoff looks intentional. To press each project, I'm using my Cricut heat press mat, my mini heat press, which is HTV Ront brand, and a Teflon sheet, but this is optional. So to adhere the Dollar Tree iron-on, I used the medium heat setting, preheated the area for about 10 seconds, then added the vinyl and covered with the Teflon sheet before pressing for about 25 seconds and removing the clear sheet after it was completely cooled. Now, as I'm removing the carrier sheet, which is just that clear covering, I'm also checking to make sure all the edges of my design are stuck down in case I have to repress. Now, I did have to press one small area at the very bottom edge again because it didn't stick really well. So I repeated this process one more time or two more times to iron on the other two butterflies, and now I have this cute little spring bookmark. Next, I added this design to a t-shirt to make a faux pocket. And to make it a layered design, I duplicated the image and used contour to remove all the extra parts except for the very bottom pocket layer. Now I cut these from a gold Cricut iron-on and a white iron-on that is the Thermoflex brand, and you can find that online. And here is how my layered design will look. Now, I know black isn't really a spring color, but this is a great way to update something you already have. And I went ahead and tried this on and marked it with a safety pin where I wanted the top of my pocket to be, and used a lint roller to remove this residue from the sticker label and any other lint on the shirt. I did readjust the placement of my decal since the flowers were a bit taller than I expected, then went on to prep the shirt by preheating, lint rolling again, and placing the gold iron-on layer. Now for this one, I did use the medium heat setting for about 25 seconds and let it cool completely, but I did need to press it a second time, and I also press it on the back side of the t-shirt as well. Now, if you are new to working with iron-on vinyl, just know that each brand is going to react differently to heat, so be sure to follow the recommended settings for each product. And here is my successful press. Now, as far as layering goes, I adjusted the press time as the Thermoflex brand recommended less time, and I also used slightly less pressure and avoided going over the gold layer too much. Again, just checking to make sure everything is stuck down. And here is my finished faux pocket. Definitely going to be making more of these. My last mini iron-on project is a decor DIY using this craft wood round. I've sanded it smooth and I'll be adding some craft gel stain in the walnut finish around the edges and some acrylic paint to the front. For the gel stain, I started off with a paper towel, but that didn't smooth it out very well, so I just used a brush, and then the paint I brushed on as well, and I did 2 coats of this. Now for this project, I'm adding this wildflower image that I found on creativefabrica.com, and in Design Space, I used contour again to remove all the tiny pieces that would make it harder to weed. And I added a very small offset just so the flower stems wouldn't be too thin. This iron-on is the Hobby Lobby brand in the color light apricot. And I love the contrast of this color over that Tuscan red paint color. Now I have used this iron-on several times and I am very pleased with how quickly it adheres and the fact that it uses a lower heat setting. So I did let this paint dry overnight before adding the iron-on, and it definitely helps to use the Teflon sheet over painted surfaces to avoid getting paint on your heat press, which I happen to do right here. Now I only pressed each area for about 5 seconds and was able to peel this while warm. To finish off this decor piece, I used a chain from an old necklace, which I screwed onto the backside of the wood round using some tiny screws that I just had hanging around. And then I decided to add a metallic accent using some rub and buff I had on hand, which you'll see in a second. And here is the finished look. I am moving away from using lots of seasonal decor, but I love this layered look over my built-in shelves. I hope these mini iron-on projects gave you some inspiration, and I'd love to hear your comments on what you're making. Check out this video on screen next for more fun iron-on ideas.